The newest season of Game of Thrones has only just begun, but people are already buzzing with everything Westeros and beyond the Narrow Sea. From fan theories to fandom, the internet is oozing with the show, and we can't get enough of it. So to hold you over until the next episode, we've come up with a list of our favorite Game of Thrones facts. Let's jump in! And at number 10 is breaking in the wardrobe. Starting off this list with the show's threads and armor, did you know that the show's Emmy Award-winning costumes are aged 2 weeks in order to make them look more worn in? Costume designer Michelle Clapton told The Hollywood Reporter about the process the wardrobe department goes through to make the costumes appear more authentic. She said, I quote, "When you are shooting in HD, breaking down a costume can't be done too quickly or it will show. You spend 2 weeks breaking down, patching, dyeing, repatching. Then you trash it, age it, then trash it again and repair. They even age the women's court gowns. Impressive." And at number 9 is Game of Bones. Like any big, respectable cultural phenomenon, the internet has gone out of its way to taint it and turn it into porn. Introducing Game of Bones, the Game of Thrones porn parody, featuring the Iron Throne, made of dildos. Enter the puns. Up next, number 8 is episode budgets. With all of the costumes, fight sequences, choreography, special effects, props, set design, and everything else under the sun, it's easy to say that the expenses of a detailed massive production like Game of Thrones has a lot to account for, and it should be no surprise that the price tag per episode is pretty darn hefty. Between 2012 and 2015, the average budget per episode was between $6 to $8 million, with the Blackwater episode in season 2 costing approximately $8 million alone. Season 6 had a budget of $10 million per episode, with the entire season coming in at over $100 million to produce. Up next, number 7 is famous relatives. With a cast as large and diverse as the actors on Game of Thrones, you're bound to run into some that have interesting lineage and walks of life. And guess what? Quite a few of them do. Telsea Stark, Robb Stark's wife, who was played by Una Chaplin, is actually Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. And remember Daenerys' brother from the first season? Well, he's the great-grandson of Charles Dickens. And Theon Greyjoy? He's the brother of Lily Allen. She even wrote a song about him too. My baby brother, Alfie, how I wish that you could see. And at number 6 is Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland reportedly had more than $100 million brought into their economy because of it being one of the 6 countries that Game of Thrones shoots in. So what locations take place there? Dragonstone, the Haunted Forest, parts of the King's Road, the Dothraki grasslands, part of the Vale, and part of the Iron Islands, and a whole lot more. You guys should definitely check out the Ireland Tourist website, it's actually really cool. They go through the entire list of locations. And at number 5 we have Getting Wordy. Aside from English, we hear a lot of the Dothraki and Valyrian languages spoken in the show. In George R.R. Martin's books, there's only a few samples to run with though, making it necessary for the show to reach out to linguists to help develop these languages further. David J. Peterson, the founder of the Language Creation Society, worked with the producers to develop both Dothraki and Valyrian into full-blown languages that the actors could learn and speak. Grammar and everything. There's even a 4,000-word Dothraki dictionary out there. Impressive. Up next, number 4 is George W. Bush. The politician makes a cameo in the show, but in an unexpected way. So if you guys pay attention during the Heads on the Pike scene in season 1, where Joffrey and Sansa are talking, there's a big ol' Easter egg with one of those heads. It's George W. Bush's. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss said that his head appears in a couple of beheading scenes, aside from just the Pikes. I quote, "It's not a choice, it's not a political statement, we just had to use whatever head we had around." Up next, number 3 is Gandalf. Speaking of Easter eggs, there's another big one on the Iron Throne. And no, we're not talking about the Iron Throne from our number 9 spot. One of the swords in the Iron Throne has some hardcore connections to another fantasy favorite, Lord of the Rings. Prop maker Gavin Jones spent 2 months constructing the throne out of wood and steel, and it stands 8 feet tall, and one of the swords in it is Glamdring, Gandalf's sword. Fans have also pointed out that another famous sword also appears on the chair right next to it, Robin Hood's short sword. Up next, number 2 is Horseheart. Game of Thrones never shies away from the gruesome. There's been a few scenes through the show's 7-season history so far that have been quite stomach-churning. One includes the infamous Horseheart eating scene back in season 1, where Daenerys, portrayed by Emilia Clarke, consumes a horse heart in order to prove herself to Khal Drogo, while she carries his child. Nothing says love like eating a heart. The heart she munched on, luckily, wasn't a real one. None of that Revenant bullshit over here, sorry Leo. It was made of a gummy bear-like substance that apparently tasted of bleach. Still kinda nasty. Co-creator David Weiss even stated that apparently eating several pounds of gummy bear heart is almost as gruesome as the real thing. And finally, in at number 1 is the original pilot. Did you guys know that there's an unreleased original pilot of the show? Back when the show was being pitched and looking for a distributor, an original pilot was shot, and HBO almost passed on it. Actress Sophie Turner, aka Sansa Stark, said, I quote, "Apparently the pilot was fairly bad. We had to reshoot basically all of it because it was really bad." It was shot in autumn 2009 and had different actors in the roles of Catelyn Stark and Daenerys Targaryen. I know about you guys, but I'm pretty glad that that change was made. So there we have it, friends. If you want more Game of Thrones facts, give us a shout. We'd love to do more lists on the show. And as always, if you want more nerdy lists, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. For now, I've been Kelly Pally for Top 10 Nerd, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.